Hello students, today in this video of ours, we are going to learn about the fourth kingdom of the five kingdom classification of Whitaker, that is plants. So today we are going to learn about the plant kingdom, and plants are many. There is a diverse variety of plants which is available on earth. So plants cannot be studied in at one place or at in one kingdom. So we need to classify them from simple to complex, and as per the different classes we have to study them. So let's see how the plants are classified. Going for the classification of plant kingdom, we should know what were the systems of classification since the beginning. So first was the artificial system of classification, which used the morphological characters only. My morphological characters means the characters which are visible from externally. So external appearance, we can say, these are called morphological characters, such as habit, color, number, shape of leaves. These were the morphological characters, and based on these characters, the different classes were made of plants and animals. So this morphological characters, when the morphological character was the criteria, that system of classification was called artificial system of classification. In this, the main focus was on the vegetative characters or on the androecium structure. Androecium, you know, androecium is the male reproductive part, which is consisting of anther lobes and the stamen filament. So that part was considered for the artificial system of classification. This was given by Linnaeus. So it was basically on the morphological characters such as habit, color, number, and shape. And then it was based on vegetative characters and also on the structure of androecium. Artificial system gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. Earlier, when this artificial system of classification was made, it gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characters. So now we know that the vegetative characters are not very reliable characters for the classification, because these vegetative characters are highly affected. They can be changed by the environment. So as per the environment, the vegetative characters keeps on changing. That's why the criteria of any classification should not be the vegetative character. The sexual characters, it's okay. So it was not acceptable because the vegetative characters are more easily affected by the environment. And then came the phylogenetic classification system. What is phylogenetic classification system? Phylogenetic classification system is the classification which was based on the evolutionary relationship between various organisms. What is evolution? Evolution is change, slow change which is occurring in the species, and this slow change ultimately is leading to the formation of new species from the pre-existing species. So that means the new species which is formed from the previous one, they are having some evolutionary relationships. So this classification was based on the evolutionary relationship between the various organisms. This assumes that the organisms belonging to the same taxa have a common ancestor. This phylogenetic classification believes in the evolutionary relationship because we all are having common ancestors, and common ancestors, slowly and slowly, when the organisms were evolved from simple to complex, so the relationship develops between the simpler and the complex one with the in between links. So this everybody is connected, having some evolutionary relationship, and all the more relationship is present in the same taxa because they all have the common ancestor. So this phylogenetic classification system is the most acceptable system of classification, wherein we are considering the evolutionary relationship between the various organisms. Now, there are new developments also which have come in the taxonomy in the process of classifying the organism, and one of them is numerical taxonomy. Because after the development of the computers, this numerical taxonomy has come into the existence, and this is carried out by using the computers, and this is based on the observable characters. Observable means morphological characters, and every character is given an equal importance. So in this, what they have done is, every character they have given certain numbers. So based on the combination of characters, the computer will tell you that how many characters are similar and how many characters are dissimilar. So this is how the numerical taxonomy is helping in with the help of computers. So in this way, each character is given equal importance, and at the same time, hundreds of characters can be considered. Normally, when we are doing any classification manually, like in the process of using taxonomic aid key, we had only two statements, contrasting statement, either this or that. But with the help of the computer, we can consider many characters at one time, and we can compare many characters at one time simultaneously with the help of computers. So this is numerical taxonomy, a new development in the field of taxonomy. Then there is cytotaxonomy. This also came later on because this depends on the cytological information. What is cytological information? The information about the cells. The information about cell is called cytological information. For example, how many chromosomes are present, what is the structure of the chromosome, what is the behavior of the nucleus. So all these cytological informations have been incorporated into a new base of taxonomy, that is cytotaxonomy. Then there is another type of taxonomy also, chemotaxonomy. And this chemo, as the name suggests, chemicals. So this taxonomy is based on the chemical constituents of the plant. So what chemical constituents are present in the plant, based on that the plants can be divided into various classes, and this is called chemotaxonomy. So basically, artificial classification, then classification, natural classification, then phylogenetic classification. So presently, what classification we are using for classifying the plants is the phylogenetic one, wherein we are using the evolutionary relationship between the plants from simple to complex. But at the same time, we are also incorporating numerical, cyto, and chemotaxonomy also for differentiating or for classifying the plants into different classes. Now, if we see the overall classification of plant, the plants are classified into, broadly we can classify them like this. Plants can be classified into two major. First of all, the first level of classification is whether their body is differentiated into root, stem, or leaf, or their body is not differentiated into root, stem, or leaf. So the body, that means the plant body, is consisting of unorganized mass of cells, a group of cells, group of tissues, but we cannot see root, stem, or leaf. So that is the simplest plant, where we cannot differentiate the body of the plant into root, stem, and leaf, and that is called Thallophyta. So Thallophyta is one class where the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. And on the other side, the body is differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. That means by seeing the plant, we can see the different structures such as root, stem, and leaves. So here, this can be further divided into whether the vascular tissues are present or absent. Now, what are the vascular tissues? The xylem and phloem. Xylem is for the conduction is absent, vascular tissue is present. If the vascular tissue is absent, the another class of the plant comes, that is Bryophyta. And if the vascular tissue is present, In Bryophyta, the vascular tissue is absent. That means xylem and phloem are not present. Whereas when the xylem and phloem are present, they can be further divided into two, whether the seeds are present or seeds are not present. If the seeds are not present, vascular tissue is present, but seeds are not present, they are called cryptogamous. Cryptogamous plants are there where seeds are absent but vascular tissue is present. And there comes the third class of plants, that is Pteridophyta. Here P is silent, Pteridophyta. And the another class where the vascular tissue is present, at the same time seeds are also present. They are called phanerogamous. Phanerogamous and cryptogamous. Cryptogamous plants are the plants where seeds are absent. Phanerogamous plants are the plants where seeds are present. And when the seeds are present, this can be further divided into two, whether the seeds are naked or the seeds are present in the fruit. So seeds are covered or whether the seeds are naked. So if the seeds are naked, that means the flowers and fruits are not present, and the seeds are present, they are naked. So that is called gymnosperms. And where the seeds are present inside the fruit, where the flowers are present, all flowering plants, they are called angiosperms. So let's revise. Plants into Thallophyta, then Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. So these are the 5 major classes in which we are going to study about the whole plant kingdom. First, concentrate on the first class, that is Thallophyta. Thallo means thallus. Thallus means unorganized mass of cells. You cannot distinguish where is root, where is stem, where is leaf. No, nothing is, the plant body is not differentiated into these organs. Only what we can see is the thallus, which is an unorganized mass of cells. And this Thallophyta is also called algae because all algae are present in this class of plant kingdom. Now, algae are chlorophyll bearing. They are green in color. They are consisting of chlorophyll and they are capable of producing food. So that is the major thing about algae. They are having chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B for undergoing the process of photosynthesis. They trap the sunlight and use it for the synthesis of, they trap the sunlight and use it for the synthesis of food. So they are capable of indulging in photosynthesis. So algae are chlorophyll bearing, simple, thalloid, autotrophic, and largely aquatic organisms. Aquatic may, they can be their habitat can be fresh water and their habitat can be marine water. You will find algae in fresh water as well as in sea water. Different algae are present in different habitats, but mainly their habitat is aquatic only. Now, some algae also occur in association with fungi. This we have already learned about the lichen. That is the symbiotic association of algae with fungi, where algae is producing the food and fungi is giving the shelter and absorbing the minerals from the soil. And with animals also the algae is found, that is on sloth bear. So on sloth bear you can find the growth of the algae. So that is also association of algae with animals. Now, if we see the size and form of the algae, there is a lot of variety in it. They can be unicellular, they can be multicellular, and they can be motile, they can be non-motile, they can be colonial, they can be filamentous. So we will see the variety which exists in the class Thallophyta. The unicellular motile, that means single cell, and they are motile, they are capable of moving. Example is Chlamydomonas. Then unicellular non-motile, consisting of one cell but cannot move, that is chlorella. Then colonial form. Colonial means they are existing in groups. They are living in groups. They are not solitary. They are in colony. They are surviving colonies. So that is called colonial form. An example is volvox. Then filamentous unbranched forms. That means a single filament is present which is not branched. Example, Eulothrix and Spirogyra. Filamentous and branched, that they have filaments and they have branches as well, that is Cladophora. Then marine and massive plant bodies, they are surviving in sea water, marine, and they have massive plant bodies. Massive means they have they grow into meters and meters. Massive plant bodies are there. Example is kelps. So these are the various forms and sizes of the algae which are present in this class Thallophyta. Now reproduction in algae. If we see the reproduction is in algae, all three types are present. The vegetative one is present, asexual is present, and sexual is present. Vegetative is taken place by fragmentation. So the fragments are there and each fragment can give rise into new algae. That means each fragment can give rise to a new thallus. That is the vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. If we see the asexual reproduction, the special spores are formed, and these spores can be motile, and these spores can be non-motile, and these spores, they are capable of giving rise to a new algae. So by the production of different types of spores, for example, zoospores, they are flagellated. Flagellated means they are having flagellum on the spore body, and that's why they are motile. And on germination, they give rise to the new plant. That means they give rise to a new thallus, that is algae. In sexual reproduction is the reproduction where there is fusion of two gametes. Male and female gametes are fusing together to give rise to the zygote. Now, in sexual reproduction also, there can be, both the gametes can be same in size, both are small in size, and that is called isogamous. Isogamous means both gametes are same in size. Both are, no one is big or small, both are same. And they are, if they are flagellated, they can be flagellated, they can be non-flagellated. The gametes are flagellated and similar in size in case of Chlamydomonas, and the gametes are non-flagellated and similar in size in case of Spirogyra. So isogamous, basically the term means, iso means same and gamous is gametes. So same gametes, that means same size of gametes are fusing, that is called isogamous. Now anisogamous, as the name suggests, they are not similar. They are dissimilar in size, and anisogamous is when the gametes are dissimilar in size, and some species of Chlamydomonas. Majority of the Chlamydomonas are having isogamous, but some species of Chlamydomonas are having anisogamous. That means the gametes are dissimilar in size. Then there is oogamous. Oogamous is what? One gamete is large and non-motile, and in majority of the cases that is the female gamete, and one gamete is motile and small, very small and motile. So that kind of gametes are called, sexual reproduction is called oogamous. Oogamous is fusion between one large non-motile female gamete and a smaller motile male gamete, that is volvox. The example is volvox. So we can find all kind of reproduction in algae. Now, algae are very, very important economically. So what is the economic importance of algae? This is a very important question as far as the examination point is concerned. Half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth, that means what is carbon dioxide fixation? is the photosynthesis, wherein the carbon dioxide is getting converted into starch. So half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. So algae is contributing 50% of the carbon dioxide fixation on Earth. So they are the primary producers. They are the primary producers of energy-rich compounds which form the basis of the food cycles of all aquatic animals. And many species of Porphyra, Laminaria, and Sargassum, they are used as food also. That means the algae is eaten as food. As it is, the algae is eaten as, because they are rich in proteins, they are rich in energy rich compounds. So that's why they are edible also. Many of the algae are edible. Now, certain marine brown algae, brown and red algae, they produce large amounts of hydrocolloids. Hydrocolloids are the substances which have the capability to hold the water. So whenever you must have seen the moss sticks and all. So what are they doing to grow the climbers, to grow the plants? Wherever the moisture is required, they are using this algae. So these algae, they are having the hydrocolloids. That means they have the capability for water holding. The example is algin, that is brown algae, and carrageen, that is red algae. Now, agar. Agar is the algae which is used for the culture of microbes. Whenever you need microbes and you are culturing them under the laboratory conditions, then agar is the jelly which is used to feed them. That is used for the nutrition for the microorganism. And this is the product which is obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaria. So Gelidium and Gracilaria are the algae which are giving us this commercial product of agar, which is used in the laboratories for culturing of microbes. And this is also used in the preparation of ice creams and jellies. Then chlorella and spirulina. This is also very, very important algae. They are unicellular algae and they are rich in proteins, and they are used as food supplements even by space travelers. So SCP is what? Single cell protein. You can find out, you can search spirulina on net and you can find out that this is a single celled algae, very rich in protein. So this is a supplement even for the space travelers. So because space travelers, they need food supplements for their, because their job conditions are such, because their environment is such. So they are being fed on this spirulina, and this spirulina is a single cell protein, very rich in protein. So this can be taken as food supplement. Then so this was all about the economic importance of algae, which is very, very important. Now the algae can be divided. Now we can further divide Thallophyta into three main classes based on their pigments. What pigments are present in their body and what is the stored food in their body. So based on the pigments, they can be divided into three main classes. And these three main classes are Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae is also commonly called green algae because the pigment is green. Phaeophyceae is commonly called brown algae because the pigment is brown. And Rhodophyceae is called the red algae because of the red pigment. Now, if we see the Chlorophyceae, characteristics of Chlorophyceae, it is also called green algae. The plant body may be unicellular, may be colonial, or filamentous. It can be all three. It can be colonial, it can be unicellular, or it can be filamentous. Because if you see the unicellular, Chlamydomonas is there. Colonial is also present. Then if you see the colonial is volvox. So volvox is present in colony. And if you see the filamentous structure, Spirogyra. So this class is having all type of algae. This can be found in fresh or marine habitat. Now the green color which is present in this algae is due to the pigments chlorophyll A and B. So chlorophyll A and B are present, which are present in the higher plants also for the photosynthesis. So chlorophyll A and B are present, chloroplasts are present, where these pigments are present. The chloroplast may be discoid. Discoid means disc shape or plate-like in case of Ulothrix. In case of Chlamydomonas, it is cup-shaped, and in case of Spirogyra, it is a spiral or ribbon-shaped. Means it is ribbon-shaped chloroplast is present in case of Spirogyra, where the algae is in the filament form. Now, pyrenoids are located in the chloroplast membrane. Now, these pyrenoids, they are the structures which are rich in proteins. So pyrenoids are also present in the chloroplast membrane, which contain proteins besides starch. So starch is also being synthesized, but proteins are also present in the pyrenoids. Other may store food in the form of oil droplets as well. So here in case of green algae, they are producing starch and they are also storing their food in the form of oil droplets. Now cell wall is rigid and it is consisting of two layers. Inner layer is of cellulose like plant cells and outer layer is of pectose. So above the cellulose layer, you will find another layer which is comprising of pectose. So this rigid cell wall, they are having rigid cell wall and which is consisting of two layers. Inner is of cellulose and outer is of pectose. Now vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation and asexual reproduction is by formation of different types of spores. They can be flagellated zoospores, and these zoospores, when the asexual reproduction is there, it is taking place with the help of flagellated zoospores, and these flagellated zoospores are formed in a special structure which is producing the spores, and that is called zoosporangia. So zoosporangia is the structure where the zoospores are formed for the asexual reproduction. So each and every zoospore can give rise to new algae. In sexual reproduction, they can be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. That means the gametes can be similar in size, the gametes can be dissimilar in size, or the gametes can be one big non-motile female gamete and one small motile male gamete. All three is possible. And the examples are Chlamydomonas, Ulothrix, Spirogyra, Chara, and volvox. Let me show you the diagram as well. Here we can see this is the colony of volvox. The first one is volvox, having different colonies. Parent colony is there, and inside we will find the daughter colonies also. Then the second one is Chlamydomonas, which is unicellular and having two flagella. And the third one is Chara. Chara is multicellular and it is like you can say the plant structure type of a thing we can see. That is Chara. So these are the examples of chlorophyceae, that is green algae. Now let's move to the phaeophyceae, that is brown algae, and they are also called calps and moss in commonly. They are found in the marine habitats, present in from simple branched filamentous forms to profusely branched forms. As I told you, the kelp is the algae which is you can find in meters and meters. Profusely branched algae, that is called kelp. So kelp is example of phaeophyceae, and at the same time Ectocarpus, which is simple, branched and filamentous form. Now here the difference is there in the pigments. Here you can find chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenoids and xanthophylls. Now in these xanthophylls, fucoxanthin is the pigment which is giving it a brown color. Then food is stored as complex carbohydrates, and which can be in the form of laminarin or mannitol. Mannitol or laminarin is the stored form of the food which is present in the brown algae. As in the case of green algae, it was in the form of oil droplets, the stored food. Here, the stored food is in the form of laminarin or mannitol. The cell is made up of cellulose. There it was pactose and cellulose. Here it is cellulose. And the outer covering is of gelatinous substance which is called algin. So algin is present at the outer covering, as the outer covering of the cellulose cell wall. Cellulose cell wall is there, and which has the outer covering of a gelatinous substance which is called algin. Now body is usually attached to the substratum. Here the body is attached to a substratum. Substratum means a base from where the body is standing or where the body is attached, and that structure of the body is called hold fast. So hold fast is the structure where it is getting attached to the base, and it has a stalk. Stalk means upper portion, which is called the stipe, and it is also having a leaf-like photosynthetic organ, which is called frond. Now, if you see that how we are moving from the simple to complex, in algae itself, you can see that there are structures similar to the roots, structures similar to the stem, structures similar to the leaf. Because hold fast, we can say that it is going to be the future root, the stipe, future stem, and the frond, future leaf. So though the body is not differentiated into proper root, stem and leaf, but still here in this Phaeophyce, we can find these three structures: hold fast, stipe and frond. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction is by biflagellated zoospores and have two unequal laterally attached flagella. That means the flagellum which is present on the zoospore, they are unequal. That means they are not of the same size. Sexual reproduction again may be isogamous, maybe anisogamous, and maybe oogamous. Now, union of gametes takes place in water or within the oogonium. Oogonium is another structure where the union of gametes take place, and that is called oogamous species is also present, where there is a special structure, oogonium. Oogonium is like a female reproductive structure where the union of gametes, because oogamous is there, so one large non-motile female gamete is present, which is present in the oogonium, and the motile small male gamete will come and fuse. The fusion of gametes will take place in the special structure which is called oogonium. The gametes are pyriform. Pyriform means pear-shaped. Pyriform gametes means pear-shaped, and they bear two laterally attached flagella. That means the gametes are also having flagellum, and two laterally attached flagellums are present on a pear-shaped gamete, and that gamete is called pyriform gamete. And examples of Phaeophyce are Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, and Fucus. Now let me show you the diagrams. See this. This is the Laminaria. Now in Laminaria, see, this is the hold fast. Hold fast is from where it is attached to the base. And this is the stipe, and this is the frond. Frond is like a leaf-like structure. Now this is Fucus. The second one is fucus. Here also you can see the holdfast, you can see the stipe, and these are the frond. So here you can see midrib also, like we see in normal leaves. Now this is dictata. Dictata, the third one is, here also you can see the holdfast, the stipe, and these are the frond. So in Phaeophyce, you can see holdfast, spike, and fronds. So these are the three examples of brown algae. Now rhodophyce. Rhodophyce are commonly called red algae because of the red pigment present in them, and that red pigment is R-phycoerythrin. R-phycoerythrin is the pigment which is present in red algae, and this pigment gives this algae red color. So predominance of red pigment, and with this red pigment, chlorophyll A and D are also present. They are found close to the surface of the water as well as into the great depths in ocean, where relatively little light penetrates. See, they are red in color. So longer wavelengths are reaching there. They are absorbing blue and reflecting red. That's why they are red in color. So you can find these red algae at the sea beds also, where very little light of sun is penetrating. Cell wall is made up of cellulose and it is covered by agaropectin. So here, which chemical is present on top of the cellulose? Agaropectin. The food is stored in the Floridian starch. So see, the difference between these three classes of algae is based on the pigments. Number two, based on their cell wall. Cellulose is covered by different chemicals, and then based on the stored food. Now here, in case of red algae, the stored food is Floridian starch, which is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structure. So the higher plants, they are having glycogen as the stored food and amylopectin. So this food, which is stored in case of red algae, is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen. Chloroplasts lack external endoplasmic reticulum and contain unstacked thylakoids. See, the chloroplast structure, if you see, it is consisting of stacked structure of thylakoids. But here, the thylakoids are unstacked, the stroma are unstacked, and external endoplasmic reticulum is also absent. Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation, asexual reproduction by non-motile spores. Here the spores are not having flagellum. Here the non-motile spores are present for the asexual reproduction. And sexual reproduction is also by non-motile gametes. So gametes, sexual reproduction is oogamous and the gametes are non-motile. And the examples are Polysyphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, and Gelidium. So these are the examples of red algae. Now let's see the diagram as well. This is the diagram. This is the Porphyra, a frond-shaped structure, big leaf-like structure only. And this is Polysyphonia. This is having the like a plant only. It is having the branches, the main axis. So this is again one red algae. So this was all about the class Thallophyta, wherein